This video is brought to you by Cracks Only. The link is in the video description below to get the latest gear off their website. Whether you play football or you don't, there is something there for everybody. Straight out of LA. Check it out. What's going on, people? Welcome to the Morning View. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, or you disgrace it saying Flecknology, late, this, that, Flecknical error. No, nothing of a sort, actually. I'm here, and I was here on time. And
Due diligence. We're
just sort of, you know, what do they call it? Crossing the T's, dotting the I's, making sure everything's in the right order, etc., etc. But happy, what day is it? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, 13th of Feb. Big up to you guys. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know how you're feeling. A lot to talk about this morning. Hands off. Real Madrid. Hands off. Yes, there was a report yesterday I just want to discuss about Real Madrid sort of sending scouts to watch Rasmus Hojlund. That's funny. After, 14 games in, he was a dud. 14 games in, he's rubbish. You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden, apparently there's Real Madrid scouts after him. We'll have a talk about that. And a lot of people have been talking about it this morning and back end of yesterday about the takeover confusion / extension / completion. What is it? Like, we're going to kind of break that down. We're going to try and break that down because a lot of people were sort of saying that, the Premier League have ratified Sir Jim Ratcliffe's takeover of Manchester United. Ben Jacobs has done some, dig in as usual and put some intricate pieces, somewhat that was so detailed. Some people were going, okay, now type it like you're from X. So we know what you're actually saying.
Exactly.
So I thought that was really funny because actually I was reading half of it and thinking exactly the same thing.
It was one of those ones when you go, explain it to me like I'm 5. And then they said, you go, explain it to me like I'm 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just keep going down
a little bit. So we're going to talk about that confusion / extension / completion, whichever one it is. But before we do that, the video is brought to you by Cracks Only. As you guys saw straight off the bat, Alfredo, good friend of mine in Los Angeles. We are doing some great work with them. The link is in the video description to their merch down below. Anything from if you play football, you've got your grip socks, you've got your undergarments, you've got all your training gear. If you don't play football and you're into your streetwear, you've got your hoodies, you've got your tracksuits, you've got your short sets. You've got big puffer jackets, backpacks, anything, you name it, they have it. You've even got headwear and accessories as well. So like I said, the link is in the video description below. And shout out to people who have messaged me. I think a lot of people on Instagram have messaged me saying they've got their Cracks Only parts, their bits, and they're really enjoying them and stuff, and people want to get involved. So yes, check them out. Link is in the video description below. And like I said, before we get to the first story of Hojlund, smash a like on the video. Yes, I think we want to get to that 250 as quickly as possible. And we'll start setting that.
Well, we got 500 yesterday. We got 500 yesterday. That's the standard. I mean, we had to wait for it a little bit at the end, and there had to be a little bit of a carrot, to play the KG clip. Not playing it this morning. Okay, it's old news. It's done. This morning we've set the standard. We know what we can do. We don't drop our levels here. As Steven Gerrard once said before he actually did slip up, we don't slip up anymore. No more slipping up. And let's be not like Gerrard, and let's not slip up this morning. We'll get 500 likes. You can do it.
Exactly. The undefeated delegate says, I hit the like switch on the way in, or I hit the thumbs up switch on the way in. There you go. It is that easy. Nikhil says, morning, everyone. Join in. Don't forget to smash the like. Esco De Niro says, smash the like, guys. And good is not good enough, says Just Kevin. And Lil Yo says, we mustn't let this slip. Owen, first story. Rasmus, the greatest striker. The greatest.
Well, of course, I can't roll my eyes because according to Haley, so that's part of the problem. But yes, there's a story coming out from Spain suggesting that under the instructions of Florentino Perez, Real Madrid higher-ups have told chief scout Juni Calafat to keep tabs on Rasmus Hojlund. They view him as a reliable plan B if they are unable to sign Kylian Mbappe or Erling Haaland in the summer. Now, obviously, Flex, I mean, I say as a reliable plan B if they can't sign Kylian Mbappe. Isn't it basically
a different player, isn't it?
Well, and also as well, isn't it basically Mbappe's going? to Real Madrid because he's leaving PSG. At least that's what they're saying. Whether or not he does, you never know with that saga.
I was going to say, who knows?
PSG. Erling Haaland going to Real Madrid. Don't think that one's going to happen, do you?
No.
But the point being is the dominoes that would have to fall, and then for them to sign a player that just signed like a 5-year contract at Manchester United, it's not going to happen, is it? Maybe it's a bit of an ego boost to Man United. Maybe it's a bit of an ego boost to Rasmus Hojlund. Or maybe, if you're going to be really cynical, it's just a guy that started scoring some goals in the Premier League at a big club, and Real Madrid, the press go, hey, anyone that does well, we're linked to because we're Real Madrid, baby, and we need to get a striker. That's what it is.
Real Madrid, baby.
Real Madrid, baby. That's what we've got to go for, a striker. But they're going to get Mbappe anyway. Rasmus Hojlund's not going to go to Spain. But, hey, I guess he's not all that bad, is he? All that talk, he's a dud. He's this, he's that, he's the other. He's only 21 as well.
No,
first season. Man United. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like that's a load of BS, really. Listen, in terms of them just keeping tabs on him, like just have a look. That's probably not BS. Like we always sort of forget that scouts' jobs are very secretive a lot of the time. Not everything is publicized, and all the scouts have been watching because in the summer they're going to put in a bit of this or that. It's their job day in, day out to be well informed on players, not just look at the quick highlights of someone who's scored a couple of goals on the app after the game. When you put on Sky Sports or something, you don't want to watch Match of the Day, you just watch the goals. Or when you're a high level scout, that's not how it works.
What do you mean? You mean the Real Madrid scouts not scrolling through the Twitter timeline looking at comps?
Do you know what I mean?
Of someone doing flicks and means he's good. Like everyone else does.
Yeah, he's definitely what we need, Carlo. I'll tell you what, you need to see this kid. He's fantastic. I've seen a few comps on X, and not only is the background music, suiting the skills that he's been doing, but what he's doing on the ball is unbelievable. And half of the clips didn't actually finish. You know what about comps that piss me off?
Flex, don't even get me started.
They are the worst things sometimes.
They are so
even
biased
ones for
as well.
I ain't gonna lie. And this is how you know that I'm across the board against comps or not looking at them properly, right? Even Cobby's one the other day against Villa. There were some really good bits of what we remembered from the game. And then remember when he hit the shit left foot pass, what put us on the counter attack, and he had to make a foul.
Yeah,
to pull down. I think it was Douglas Luiz at the time, and he the comp shows him bringing it down, and then just doing the left foot pass to nobody. Then it just cuts off, and I'm like, but that bit of the comp was literally when he gave the ball away because he chose the wrong pass for once because he was really good. It led to a counter attack that put us in big trouble, and he had to make a foul. Why are you cutting it off right there? And the pass clearly goes to a Villa player, and they kick it away.
I don't know what's more infuriating. Like you said, comps with a player that you don't know and you haven't seen that often. So you see, and sometimes, like you said, they put clips in there. I like it when they put clips in there that are bad clips as well.
Yeah,
they'll put a clip in there. They'll do a switch of play. It goes out of play, but it looks nice or something like that. Or, and this is even worse for me, is I'll see comps of a player that we all watched that used to play for Man United. So there's a lot of Paul Pogba comps, right? And you'll see and it'll be remember when we had this? And you go, yeah, I do remember when we had this. It was a pain in the ass when we had this. We had to sit on shows like this all the time and have the conversation. How do we unlock Paul Pogba? How do we do this? How do we do that? And I'm going I'm not putting down his quality or his ability, but I also do remember we were still having the same conversations then that we are now about standards. How do we get? I tell you what, Man United aren't good enough. We're inconsistent. You go, we all lived through it. What? So
we were all there. We all saw it.
Comps. Oh, I'm telling you, honestly, Flex. Comps, they're just the worst. They really are. And then and you can get good comps and bad comps of the same player. So you get sometimes, I remember the Onana comps, the positive ones, the spraying, passing it out. And I remember the bad ones. They highlight all the mistakes as well. It's just...
Well, and then there was another comp for Rashford, because some people were saying Flex was a bit hard on him. He did actually play better than we thought. And there was a comparison between him and Garnacho in terms of numbers. And this is where, we're a little bit off topic here, but we will bring it back to the Hojlund Madrid thing. But this is where it's like you need your eye test. You need your eye test because, yes, if you looked at the actual numbers, yeah, it had like, I think it had like pass accuracy, take-ons, assists, goals, number of shots.
You can find any stat.
Then shots on target. And it was like, they both had 0 for a lot of them. So someone was like, well, how could Rashford be a 4, but Garnacho, you gave a 6 or a 7 or whatever. And I think the only difference with Garnacho, I think he had 2 shots on target, maybe, I think, if I remember correctly. He had a P roller and one that I think Martinez saved around the post. But like, we all watched that game, and Rashford was not good. Albeit he didn't get an assist or an assist or a goal or whatever, the same way Garnacho didn't get an assist or a goal. But the feel and the rhythm of what they were both doing. I mean, and then there was a comp of Rashford when he sort of cut in. I think he cut in Kamara, and he just fell over. It wasn't a foul. That wasn't even a foul. But they put that in, say, look, he's cooking. And I'm like, he wasn't in that game. In that game, he wasn't.
Well, and also as well with it, and like I said, I would look at the game and go, was there much difference between the two in that game? Probably not. You know, and I've been a big Rashford critic this season, and I didn't think he was great at the weekend. I thought he did what Marcus Rashford does this season, which is pick up the ball, run with it, and you go, right, you're going to release it now? No, I'm going to keep running with it. And you go, okay, well, maybe I didn't see the vision. You're going to release it now then? No, I'm going to keep running with it. You've gone past a couple of players now. It's probably time to release it. And then it's like eventually runs into the blind alley. Garnacho was somewhat similar, to be honest with you, but it's quite telling, isn't it, that Ten Hag, when he had to make the substitution, didn't take off Garnacho. He took off Rashford instead and brought on Scott McTominay.
He saw the same thing.
Exactly.
He saw the same thing.
But yes, to turn it back to the Madrid story, the scouts aren't scrolling through X, looking at the comps. And as you mentioned, there are scouts where their beaten path, if you will, their beat is like, you know, I just do sort of Premier League games. You know, there'll be Real Madrid scouts at quite a lot of Premier League games. There'll be scouts. You know, they just always are.
Their job. Their job.
It's literally their job. So, you know, it's one of those ones where it might be a case of there might have been a Real Madrid scout at the game at Aston Villa, you know, at the weekend, and Hojlund scores and goes, he was there to watch Rasmus. That's why, you know, he's there to watch him.
But also, Laurie Whitwell said that Rasmus Hojlund has benefited from the advice of Robin van Persie. They recently had a long conversation at Carrington during a break from training. So when obviously RVP's been doing his badges at United, because he's coming back to the club that actually loves him and appreciates him and don't treat him like a piece of shit. Man United.
He's a legend. He's a legend. He's a legend at Man United. I've said this before, I love that this really rubs Arsenal fans the wrong way, because every time Van Persie shows up at Old Trafford, at Carrington, you get more reaction from Arsenal fans than you do from United fans. The United fans go, it's nice to see Robin.
We love
Welcome back, all that kind of stuff. The Arsenal fans, why won't he come back to the Emirates? Why won't he come back to London? Maybe he don't like it. maybe he don't like it.
Maybe because he's not welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Because
you lot are flipping idiots because you'll call him Judas and flipping
you go crazy. You go crazy. And even to this day, he still says, like, he'll put his hand on a Bible and go, I didn't get a contract offer from Arsenal. He said, like, I saw him say the other day, I'll give someone £1 million if they can prove to me that Arsenal give me a new contract or something like that. Because his point is they never offered me a new deal, so I decided to leave because he had a year left on his contract. And I love it, that how bitter they still are about that. It was quite a while ago. I mean, it's a decade ago at this point. You know, it's over. And, left, won a title. He had to listen to that young boy in him. Flex said, go to Old Trafford. Go to Old Trafford, win Premier League.
Listen, and look, it was the best decision of his whole career, wasn't it, really? Let's be honest. I'm trying to go through this piece for The Athletic. They're saying about the meeting he had with Van Persie. It might only be just a quick line.
It's from, really long, I saw that. It's from Laurie. I was basically sort of saying how he's, benefited and improved. And And he's on the rise, Flex. He's on the rise. I mean, who's the next Premier League game against? Luton. Next Premier League
game. And they're actually drawing parallels to, actually, he missed the biggest chance of the season, actually, at the time against Luton at home. Remember that one when he was in the 6-yard box? and it hit off his thigh.
Wow, that was my point in that game. I know we won it 1-0, and I know people were so unhappy and angry after that game. And I remember after the game,
I wasn't happy after that game.
But my point was, remember saying to you, going, we should have won that like 3 or 4.
Yeah, we had chances, it should have been more. That's why I was angry.
Yeah, exactly. I'd have been more concerned if it was like, I tell you what, we couldn't get any chances against Luton.
The Lindelof thing was the only thing that happened. So
exactly. Yeah. But that would be the question is, does he make it 6-6 now? Because there's a story going into every game, isn't it? Can he make it 6-6? I did like against Villa that was like a subplot going into it. Can he get 5-5? And he did it, and he rose to that occasion, because once that narrative starts going of can he get to that point? Can he do that next thing? Can he do it? The pressure's on that game. If you start hitting that, you're like, I could do anything. That's what it's
the start of the run. Of the Vardy run. Remember, Vardy got the record against us.
I know.
I was fuming that day. I was fuming. And it's a really good goal as well.
I know. And he had like Martin Tyler on commentary giving it,
Yeah. Fucking bastard. Yes, but big up to Rasmus anyway. He's definitely on a hot streak. People are talking about him more. People are writing about him more. Rival fans are still sort of looking at him and, saying, actually, even though they were part of the 0025 or whatever it got to with Rasmus, or 0014 probably, because he didn't score for the first 14, did he? Now everyone could see that there was still something there, and he still had 5 Champions League goals under his belt, and they were good goals, a lot of those. Remzin says, rounds of applause for Marcel on the stream. Oh, he was brilliant last night, wasn't he, on that stream? Did they mean the one actually from Saeed's channel? I think they do. But
I don't know.
Either or, yeah. Big up, just a round of applause for Marcel.
Yeah.
Keegan says, Rio, who was there, said it was a 15-minute convo. Oh, right, okay. So they must have had a 15-minute. Well, it's worked. Whatever Rasmus has done, it's worked, yeah. And don't forget my guy Benny / Quinton as well. He's still there. Yeah, he's taken the powers that he gave to Rashford last year. Said, Rashi, I've given you that. You do that. I'm now going to talk to Rasmus.
I did see that on I think Hojlund did an Instagram post, and I did see a Benny McCarthy comment basically being like, proud of you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Benny.
Benny's
He's active.
there, mate.
He's active.
Yes, exactly. Benny from the block says SLD. Smash like the video. We're nearly at 1,000 people watching live. We're at 822, so we're well on our way to 1,000 people, which is great. We're well on our way to 200 as a marker to get to the 250, but I would also say we're well on our way to 250. 177 likes, 178 likes. It's going up now. Let's get to 250. Right. This is the bit that's interesting now. What's going on with the takeover? Has it been ratified? Has it just been extended? Or has it been completed? Let's dive into that. What's going on?
I'm going to do my very best here, Flex. I've been doing my reading this morning. So, Manchester United have released an update. Manchester United have released an update on Sir Jim Ratcliffe's 25% investment in the club. Now, of course, Ineos Sport officially announced in December that it had agreed to purchase a minority stake in the club. The deadline for the takeover, which will see Ratcliffe purchase 13,237,834 shares of Manchester United, was originally set for midnight on February 14 Eastern Standard Time, given United shares trade in New York. However, the club have confirmed that the Ineos owner has had his deadline extended to midnight on February 17. Now, this was confirmed with new financial documentation released saying, quote, on February 12, 2024, the offerers extended the expiration date of the offer 1 minute after 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on February 16, 2024, unless extended or earlier terminated. In either case, pursuant to the terms of the transaction agreement, the offer was previously scheduled to expire at 1 minute after 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on February 13, 2024. It continued by saying, Computershare Trust Company, the depository for the offer, has advised the offerers that as of 5 p.m. Eastern Time on February 9, 2024, the Class A shares, representing approximately 36.7% of the outstanding Class A shares, have been validly tendered and not validly withdrawn pursuant to the offer. Now, yes, I know. What the hell does that mean? You probably would say, well, this is what Ben Jacobs has said, and this is why I said I'm doing my best. when it comes to all this. So Ben Jacobs said, Manchester United have confirmed that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has had his deadline extended to midnight Eastern time on February 17. The original deadline was midnight, as I mentioned, on February 14. This allows completion of the Class A share tender as of February 9. Those Class A shares that I mentioned, representing approximately 36.7% of the outstanding Class A shares, have been validly tendered and not validly withdrawn pursuant to the offer. He does go on to explain a bit more. Latest letter to shareholders also states Ratcliffe's liquid assets, primarily consisting of cash and readily marketable securities, are in excess of $4 billion. Flexi's broke, apparently, $4 billion. And for those asking, he also said, deadline extensions are not uncommon. The A-share tender remains a formality. There was a request for some extra information on Ratcliffe's wealth since he's funding things personally. Correspondence says Ratcliffe has over $4 billion in liquid assets, with his net worth significantly in excess of that as well. There was a legal requirement to address the above question since it was asked and thus extend. Many investors have tendered all their shares already, but some haven't yet. Tender allows each investor to say how much they wish to sell then, depending on how many takers. The numbers are scaled back because Ratcliffe is only bidding for 25% of A shares. Now, there was also another filing, or at least some stuff on social media that was suggesting that he had received Premier League gratification. This comes from like a screenshot of a possible SEC filing, which essentially says that all of these different steps that would be required for ratification, one of which is Premier League approval. Now, I'm going to have to get right in there because it's so small. But basically it says it would require Premier League approval, which they say will be received, and its brackets already has been received. The only one where it says hasn't been received but will be received is Football Association. So essentially all of those steps haven't been properly done just yet. Mike Keegan did say yesterday, though, that he wasn't expecting it to be this week, most likely next week, or possibly the week after.
Mike always says that one.
That's where I'm at. That's what I've got. That's where we are with it.
On that note, I'd actually just like to move on then to the Shaw injury latest, because I'll tell you what, trying to decipher all that. I think basically, let me just get comfortable in my chair. Basically, it's been extended because there was some queries regarding a particular part of his finances, which is, that's normal. Mm-hmm. And there's a bit of an extension on that.
And again,
in proper simple terms.
In basic terms, they said that initially the deadline was tomorrow. Someone said, "How much money you got, Jim?" And he goes, "Well, it's going to get that down on paper. It's going to take me a couple of extra days." So okay, I've got more than I'm worth significantly more than $4 billion. I've got liquid about $4 billion. I can just give me a couple of days and I'll show you. And the fact that the deadline's until 4 days' time would suggest that it's not, it's not too long. And it's not as if it's a massive hiccup or anything like that. And according to that filing, if that filing is true, they're already well into the process of receiving certain ticks on their checklist. So it's not a case of like the wheels are falling off. It's not going to happen. Qatar timer, eyeball emoji flex. We told you it was going to be the case. We told you hostile takeover, suing them, SEC, boom.
Yeah, exactly. I just I put it this way. I feel like this is just a couple of days more extension, as we can clearly see from this whole process, just sort of the scale and magnitude of a deal this big. But also we dealt with the incompetency of the Glazers and them just sort of taking their time and dilly-dallying and not making up their minds. So that added on extra time just in general. And then once their mind was made up, that process of them saying that he's the preferred bidder it still hasn't come to a full-on conclusion yet, even though he's kind of in post and doing what he needs to do in the background. He still hasn't been fully ratified yet. We're now in that bag where that bit still takes ages. It does.
Yeah.
And we are so close to the end of that. But I think we can all agree that we're pretty comfortable in saying that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is our, new minority shareholder. Like it's not going to collapse. It's not going to, he's appointed a new CEO, been meeting with all the fans, doing all this stuff.
But he was on shaky ground when he was doing
haven't been ratified.
He was on shaky ground.
Sorry.
or we're not sure whether it's going to happen or not, but we've just, we've made these hires and we've met with these people,
exactly,
all this kind of stuff, and also let's face it, I mean, there's probably people are watching this and are in the chat that are much bigger and better financial experts than you and I, or maybe even trade stocks and on through Wall Street and what have you, but it would appear certainly that, as Ben Jacobs says, it's completely normal. It's just a query. And because of all of the regulatory stuff that goes into it, if there is a question raised, it takes a couple of extra days to get the appropriate paperwork and all that kind of stuff. So
exactly. And whilst end of the week, and obviously across all of that, we will bring that to you as soon as we know. Somebody like us done a little bit of a piece sort of talking about revamping Old Trafford. The mayor of Manchester is Andy Burnham, has basically said that Man United haven't decided yet what to do with Old Trafford in terms of revamping / rebuilding. He says in his piece here, Man United have not decided whether to rebuild or revamp Old Trafford, according to Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham. United hired stadium master planners Populous to explore options to potentially build a new Old Trafford 2 years ago, but plans were put on hold during the 13-month strategic review. With the Ineos Group's impending stakeholding of 25% expected to be granted. Ratcliffe was stood next to Burnham during a memorial service to commemorate 60th anniversary of the Munich air disaster at Old Trafford last Tuesday, and has held meeting with the former Labour MP. The first thing, I think these are some quotes here, at least from Andy Burnham, I think. The first thing I would just say is it's good to be able to have a conversation about the future and how we might support the club's ambitions, Burnham told Manchester Evening News. It's for them to decide what those ambitions are and what they want to do. And it's not for me to cut across those discussions in any way. Well, absolutely. You're the mayor of you're more council side, i.e. if we want to build this big, massive 2.2 billion thing, even though we own the land, we've probably got to let you know. And, the local economy, we're going to give X amount of jobs. We're going to plant X amounts of trees to make sure it's all sorted. What I can say, though, he goes on to say, it is for us to back the club in terms of its ambitions, but also in terms of unlocking the power of the club in the city region and beyond. We work with both clubs, of course, as being the mayor. It's not just, it doesn't support Man United or something. This is just what should happen. We work with both clubs and we want the power of both clubs to be felt to the full extent in the east and west of the city region. Conversations are ongoing. I don't think the club's has made its decision yet, but whatever happens, we will back them, whatever those decisions are. So he's basically saying, if Man United decide that they want to, build a new one and, make the infrastructure better, improve the area around the stadium, they'll all be for it.
Yeah, he's basically saying we're not gonna, whatever plans they have, we're not gonna block them. Basically, exactly. It's in our best interest to have an upgrade, either an upgraded great facility or a brand new facility, and certainly they're going to work with them.
They want City to be the best it can be. They want Man United to be the best it can be, because then
they didn't know what's going to happen to Manchester City in the next couple of years, right?
Yeah, so, exactly.
You never know. You never know. So I mean, that stadium thing will rumble on, won't it, as well? And like we said, we've had that conversation quite a bit about whether brand new or revamped. The point is, I suppose, is like with everything, is finances, isn't it? And the suggestion is that whilst initially to revamp Old Trafford would cost a bit less, they're saying between 800 to 1 billion. They're also suggesting that to build a new stadium would be between 1 billion to 2 billion. But the problem is, if you revamp Old Trafford, then in maybe about a decade's time, you're going to have to spend that money again, or continue to spend that money. So actually, the most cost-effective option might be to start brand new.
I don't see how that's not going to be decided. I don't see why there's a viable business decision that's like spend 800 million on this one stand, but everything else is still kind of old. Then have to spend another 100 million doing up Sir Alex Ferguson, or doing up the East Stand, or doing up the Stretford End. Like, rather than go, actually, by the time we've done all this, we may as well restart, and actually we can have the best in everything. We'll have the best technology, and the best screens, the best hospitality, the best food, the best everything, best pitch, multifunctional, multi-purpose. We'd have the best everything and bigger.
And it's like you guys said on the What the Devil podcast last Thursday, when you were saying that it doesn't necessarily mean Old Trafford, where it is right now, goes away, it can be repurposed. It can be reused. You still have it. You can downscale it and use it for something else. You can say, look, that's a stadium exclusively for the women's and academies team, or that's
brilliant,
or something we can utilize. So I think that I think that there is sort of engagement with those sort of local councils and governments and politicians is maybe a bit of an indication that maybe they're trying to probably prep for something bigger than just refurbishing and redeveloping what they've already got. To me, it kind of sort of suggests, well, if we were to this space we've got over here, if we were to put something here, what kind of red tape would we have to go through? Would you be open, for all that kind of stuff? That's what it kind of feels like to me.
Do you think we'll have a new stadium within 5 years?
5 years. That's that's a pretty quick turnaround.
It is. I mean, in terms of finding out what they even want to do, if it's going to take.
Do I think work will begin on it in 5 years? Maybe that's a better one.
I mean, how long does it take to build a new stadium? 2 years?
Well, Everton's one. When did Everton start building theirs?
I think it was about 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Was it? I feel like it's longer than that.
When Tottenham were in
they had delays. They had delays,
and it was only in there for 2 seasons.
And with the Tottenham one, did they start building? Did they start work on it whilst they were at White Hart Lane?
Oh yeah, they did as well. I think they might have done actually.
Exactly, yeah. And then there were the delays too.
Everton's one's probably been about 3 years.
It's been a while. Everton ones feel.
People want a poll on that. I'm going to add a poll.
Yeah, 5 years. So what's years? 2029. We'll be in a new stadium by 2030.
Within 5 years. Will United have a new stadium within 5 years? Yes, no. Just yes or no? Or should I add another option?
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Just yes or no, isn't it? It's fairly straightforward.
Yeah. Yes. I would lean towards yes. We will have one. Whether what we'll be playing in it, that's probably my little sort of asterisk on top of that. It depends when construction starts, doesn't it? On it, because again, it depends when they. Well, one, it depends when they decide that that's what they want to do. Two, and that's when they decide they get approval to do it. And then when does the actual project start? There are three things there that could
take a long time.
Year. That in itself could take a year,
which leaves 2 years to build it. Which is probably about par. I think it's possible, man. I think it's possible. I'm gonna. Do you know what? I've put it out there.
There you go.
I've put it out there, Owen. In the last couple of minutes from the Independent, big up to United District. They've just obviously put this forward just to back up what Owen was saying and confirm what we were talking about a little while ago in terms of the ratification. Man United have extended the deadline for Sir Jim Ratcliffe to complete his investment in the club. Originally, he had until midnight on Tuesday in Eastern Time in the USA to finalize a $1.2 billion deal, but now has a further 72 hours until Friday. Really, that's the only bit we ever needed out of all of the whole thing, really. We just needed the Independent to say that, because that tells us exactly where we're at. But it's good to, people do want to dive into stuff in a bit more depth. And
maybe that's why, Mike Keegan maybe gets a wind of that yesterday, and that's when he goes, in terms of everything being done, probably next week. You know what I mean? Because sometimes with those journalists, they get wind of things before they actually get, published or filed or what have you. And then when they hear that, they go, it's going to be next week or something like that. One thing's for certain, a bit like when it was announced on Christmas Eve, a bit like when any of this stuff has been announced, you'll hear about it with a lot of journalists, like 2 or 3 hours before. They'll go, later today, this is coming, and then it will come. And then you go,
exactly.
Okay, that's it.
By the way, I forgot to say, we did hit 250 likes. So big up to you guys. We're at 280 likes now, nearly 300 likes, which means we are on our way to 500. We're over 1,000 people watching live as well, which is routine for the morning shows. Also, what we want to make routine is hitting that 500 like mark. So if you haven't hit like on the video, let's get to over 300 and then smash out the rest of the 200
you can do
remaining. You can do it. Exactly. PS, thanks for the super chat. PS says, Flex, did you see what Varane did to Douglas Luiz after McTominay scored? Hope he doesn't celebrate in front of our Rolls Royce like that ever again. Well, I'm a bit conflicted because I want to just
I saw that.
paining on Douglas Luiz because he annoyed me. But I think Varane was maybe doing that to like, oh, F's sake, for God's sake, we conceded. I don't know if it was looking at him going, "You idiot, what are you doing?"
This is it.
Was it that?
They're meaning the second part of this is after McTominay scored. So after McTominay,
after McTominay scored.
After McTominay scored, there's a clip on social media.
Oh, I need to see this.
Where Varane goes up to Douglas Luiz and starts talking to him, probably sort of saying like, "Hey, that's what you kind of get."
Oh,
it's not like aggressive in his face or anything like that, but he goes up to him and says something.
Let me see this. Oh, first of all, it's just highlights of him just, doing amazingly well.
It's like what's the account called? It might be called Away Day Limbs or something like that.
Oh, is it them? Yeah.
And then you'll see it. All of the players go over because at Villa Park, the away fans are over to the side, aren't they?
That's the side. Somebody send it to me or at me on X or DM.
I'll find it and send it to you now.
Yeah. I'd love to see that. Anything involving the ghost of Wraith, the Phantom, I would always like to see. I didn't see what Varane did. Says the Black Mirror. Yeah. Sorry, but I'm fed up with Standards FC, says John James. People who have no standards themselves. LMFAO, get a life. Would the United View have over 2 million subscribers in 5 years? I say yes. Imagine that. Where would it be in 5 years? Man, if we ever hit 1 million subscribers, man. I know people say, think positive and be like, but never in my wildest dreams would I believe that. But I should believe that because that sounds defeatist. I do believe it. But it's if we ever hit 1 million subscribers, the amount of tears you'd see from me, I swear to God, I'll be bawling my eyes out. I would. That would be amazing. Even to hit 500k, just to each.
I've sent it to you. I've
just seen it pop up in my DMs right now. I'll be the judge of this Varane thing. Oh.
Well, and the best thing is, clearly Flex has gone on it, and now his AirPods or something like that, because now I can't hear him. Oh, no, you're back. You're back.
Am I back now?
Yeah.
Let's turn the sound off. It's so blurry. I can't even see whoever. Oh, yeah. Rewind that a bit. Ghost of Wraith goes over to him. Oh, he's telling him 4 Champions Leagues, mate. Are you mad? He's pointing. Yeah, he's definitely saying something. We don't know what it is, but for the purposes of entertainment, we're going to say he said, hold that. I'm the ghost. Yeah. I'm the Wraith. I'm the Phantom. And also, someone reminded me, the Cunningham. Yeah.
Did he do the Douglas? Cunningham. Did he do the Douglas back at him?
He didn't. No? He didn't do the Douglas. Nah, it's not Varane's style. It's not Varane's style. Nah, Varane's not like me like that. He's a bit more classy. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like the way how Varane's my favorite player is disgusting. But I'm not biased towards him. I have said, don't renew the contract, and if he doesn't want to stay on that money, then I'll have to say goodbye. But I just love Varane. I might get a shirt with his name on the back. I don't ever do that.
No, don't do it. It's a jinx. It's always a risk.
No, maybe once he's left, then.
I forgot this as to who my dad got this season. I forgot who he had. The shirts he got. It's bad. I don't want to talk about it because it's actually quite bad.
Well, you said it to us, didn't you? Or did you
I did, but I just can't remember the other one. Shall I find out again?
Yeah, I think what was it? Mason Mount was one of them, wasn't it? Or was it? Owen's dad's completely jinxed Mason Mount. And watch Mason Mount have a good season next year because Owen's dad's not going to get his.
Yeah, he got a Mason Mount one. Can confirm he did get a Mason Mount one. The other one he got the other one he got Casemiro one. He was out for 3 months. So yeah. Well, Dad got a Casemiro shirt and apparently his legs went straight after.
Yeah, exactly.
He ended his career.
He had to take time out to come back. Nem Green says, watch what Dallo did. LOL. What did Dallo ran around like a madman, didn't he? When we scored. Didn't he run to the away end? I think he did.
I can't remember.
Because everyone is running over there, and it's only Varane who doesn't go over with the celebrations and just goes to.
Lil Yo-Yo says he got an Amrabat one.
Jesus. Are you serious, bro?
He was really confident. He was really confident that loan deal was going to become permanent.
I mean, I was as well. I'm not going to act like I wasn't, but geez, to get a flipping shirt of Amrabat, wow. That we need to, not enough going to be said about that. That really hasn't worked out, has it? I really thought it was. I remember saying this is exactly what we need: big away games, Casemiro and Amrabat. That's what we need. We talk so much shit as fans, you know. And I think it's important to know that we do that.
He was the answer, and this is my point with all this kind of stuff. We do overhype a lot, don't we? We do.
I'm not doing it.
Facundo a chance. Give Facundo a chance. Plays against Bayern Munich. Well, maybe Facundo. Amrabat, he's going to be the answer. He's going to be the answer. Well, yeah, maybe not. Maybe.
I'm not doing it ever again. I'm going to say players that I would like to sign, and I think they could do good. But that whole thing of like,
Do you remember when Anthony scored in his debut? And I know you guys will be able to find this, on KG's fan view after the game.
Yeah.
Anthony scored in his debut, and he goes,
Arsenal, though.
And he goes, 100 million euros, we didn't pay enough. You know?
It's mad. People in the chat were saying, no flex. Oh, Red Baron says, no flex. LOL, you was the biggest Amrabat fan.
You were a big Amrabat fan.
I was. Flex, it was the number one Amrabat fan. Yeah, I got, especially because I was there at the actual games of Morocco during that tournament, and I just kind of fell in love with him. I was like, oh, this guy's good, man. He's handy. He's a dictator. He's power. He's exactly what we need. To remember, but then actually, no, you know what? Actually, I'm going to push back a little bit, you disgraces and cheats, right? Because I do admit I was the original flag bearer. I am holding my hands up. I was the one who came back from Qatar going, there's this guy called Amrabat that, come on, just got to get him.
You had the Morocco flag painted onto your cheeks.
I did. And I've got my Morocco.
I saw a clip of that the other day, and then like they're going into the stadium, they're playing the drums, and you're there, shameless. I mean, Morocco on your cheeks, dancing, holding your phone up.
You have to immerse yourself in the experience, my bro. That is what the World Cup. And I tell you what, I tell anyone now, if you have not experienced a major tournament as a neutral, obviously I was there to support England in the England games as well, but like when you start like embracing into other cultures, it was one of the best experiences of my life. I swear to you, being part of that Moroccan contingent. Then when the Ghanaians had to play Uruguay, when they knocked out Belgium, I think it was. Who did they knock out? Who did Ghana beat before they played Uruguay? You lot are better in the chat than me. I was there and I can't remember. We come out the stadium and I spoke to that woman and I was like, Uruguay next, and she goes, Suarez, we've got to make him cry. Gonna make him cry. You see what we did to see what you did to Son today? Oh, yeah, that was because they must play Korea. Yeah, they was laughing at songs. I think they South Korea. So they knocked out South Korea. And she was like, you see what we did to Son today? You see what we did to Son today? Suarez, he will cry. And then it was like, Ghana, it's time for retribution. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get Suarez. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And actually immersing myself with the Ghanaians, with the bloody, with the Moroccans, with the Saudis. That first game I went to at the Lusail Stadium where Saudi beat Argentina in the group stages. Oh my God. It was unbelievable. So yeah, that was so funny. Where am I at there? Oh yeah, there you go. I know.
Actually, Flex. I do have that. I do have that. I do have that.
I knew it. How he does it.
Of you with the Moroccan.
Little touch up, little makeup touch up, little blusher. Yes, little Morocco. Yeah.
Tremendous.
It's brilliant. Is it easy to find that? Do you just type it in on Google and it comes up? Or did you just go on my Instagram and say, how'd you get it that quick?
I because I came across it. I'm one of these people that I've just got a camera roll full of stuff. I just never delete
Keep the
stuff.
Clips. Yeah, that's
so I
good.
was so the other day I was going through it because I've got so much just junk in there, and I came across that and I went, I remember that.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of want you to see that Suarez one. I've got it in my thing. That Suarez one, bro, I'm serious, was just, oh, mate. Let me type in Qatar. I might have to send it to you. Oh, maybe we can't do it. It was just the funniest thing I've ever experienced. That was when we saw Steven and Zonzi.
But that was a wild time. That was the
brilliant.
Qatar 2022 World Cup is such a unique tournament, wasn't it? December. Yeah, it was a strange one. But I tell you what, Flex was shameless because I remember playing that on the morning show at the time, being like, he's really getting into it.
It was brilliant. It was honestly, when you're actually there in it, you got no choice but to like fully just get involved in it. We're going to close this poll. 62% of you said Man United will have a new stadium within 5 years, versus the 38% of you who say we won't. Sin Games has become the latest member of the UV Members Club. Big up to you, Sin Games. Appreciate you. We are at 360 likes, 359 likes, and just over 1,000 people watching live. We still want to push for that 500. We've got about 10 minutes left. Let's push for the 500 likes. Owen has an archive, says Red Baron. He does. Owen with the receipts. He is the receipts master. That's a classic clip, says Gillen Don as well. So yes, Luke Shaw, injury latest. He's all right. It looks
yes, hopefully so. So this comes once again from the Inside United count, who does a very, very, very strong track record when it comes to all of the
him on a regular,
particularly with the team news and particularly with injuries and stuff like that. Doesn't always tweet as well, but when he does, people do tend to listen. Saying Luke Shaw was subbed off as a precaution. He is in for training tomorrow, that being today, and will be fully assessed by the medical team. The feeling is he's fine and will play against Luton unless something is discovered during his assessment. So the suggestion is that, as Erik ten Hag said, it was just a massive precaution, that Luke Shaw said that he felt something and Erik went, right, get him off. And I suppose, I mean, it says a lot about Luke Shaw, like Erik ten Hag said, going, given his history and the amount of injuries he's had, immediately if he has any discomfort, we go get him off. But also, like Ten Hag, I suppose, was willing to almost jeopardize the game because it nearly did. No disrespect to Lindelof, but putting him on at left back really hurt us in that game. He really struggled. Leon Bailey down that side hadn't played a ton of football since having groin surgery, and he did the best that he could, but it wasn't having like Luke Shaw at left back, certainly. But the hope is that he's okay. But I do think it opens up a wider conversation about, I tell you what, man, Luke Shaw is just, it's not necessarily doubting his quality. It's about doubting his availability. And he's been here for a long time. And it's not as if he's going to go in the summer. I don't think he does. But there needs to be someone more than Terrell Malacia, who likewise hasn't been available all season. There needs to be that someone that isn't a backup. There needs to be that someone
if he was available, Terrell Malacia, and it's hard to judge Terrell Malacia because actually, I think when we got to the end of last season, I think that the general consensus was he's a bit raw. But
he went up and down a lot last season.
Yeah, he had some really good games. Like when we really needed him, like against Liverpool and shit like that. Yeah. It was brilliant.
I remember at the start of the season, because Shaw, I don't even know if Shaw got injured that, but he just came out the team. I think it was after that Brentford game.
I think he was part of that collateral where, like,
take people out. And Malacia came in and he had, he had the energy, he had the tenacity, and people were like, yes, let's have a bit of that. And obviously, that then got Luke Shaw going, where he lost a bit of weight, he trimmed up, he was looking better, and everyone went, well, this is Luke Shaw. But by the end of the season, like I said, Malacia did have a couple of games. I remember he came on, I think, against Sevilla in that game where the centre-backs got injured, and he was at fault for one of the goals, I think.
I'll tell you where it was, because when we're going to that, he got taken off against Omania at half-time when him and Sancho messed up and they scored just before half-time.
Oh, yeah, he just took off the left-hand side. Yeah, he just took off the left-hand side, didn't he?
Left-hand and we came back and won. I think Rashford scored as well.
Yeah.
And Martial. And then he got taken off against City because he had an absolute stinker then as well. And
there was like this feeling of, maybe he's backup. Maybe he's a proper backup. But in retrospect, now looking at this season, I know hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it's kind of like if you're going to have a backup to Luke Shaw, then the requirement of that backup is to be constantly available because Luke Shaw is not going to be constantly available, right? So I don't know. Maybe you look at it in the summer and go, actually, we need to get.
Is this revisionism? is this revisionism? Because I agree with you in the summer, definitely. But is this revisionism? Someone said it there in the chat. I don't know why we let Reguilon go back. Like, are we just saying that because Luke Shaw had a bit of a scare? But actually, no. We only have one left back at the moment. Again, we're back to square one because, because Terrell Malacia has to go down now as a season ender. Like he's not going to play this year, pretty much, is he? Let's be honest. So, and Luke Shaw's already been out for ages. And Dalot is starting to cook now at right back, and you don't want to mess up that. And we've just seen Lindelof have to come on at left back. That should have been where Reguilon comes in. Where we're a bit premature to sort of say, that Reguilon should go back.
People did say it at the time, didn't they? They did say, why are we letting Reguilon go back? Because by that point, Malacia wasn't back. I guess the hope was that he would be.
He wasn't,
but
they
it
really
was a
thought
risk.
It was going to be.
It was hard, absolutely was a risk. But I do think, like I said, for the summer, you would say, if you're going to say Luke Shaw is your left back, he's your starting left back, and you're aware. I mean, Erik ten Hag said it himself. They're aware of his injury history. So you're in your mind, you're going, we know it's unlikely he's going to be available all season. He's going to pick up an injury. And either we're okay with that and our backup is constantly available, so it's not a problem, or we're not okay with that and we say, right, we're going to look for a similar quality or better left back. And we're saying, look, Shaw, you're only going to be consistent in this team if you can stay fit. If you can't, this guy's better than you and this guy's more available than you. And sorry, we need consistency. Erik ten Hag talks about consistency again, time and time again. I want to play the same team. I want to have a consistent and stable back four. If that's your aim and you're relying on people that, are constantly going to pick up injuries and get injured, then that's the point when it starts going, well, that's on you then. Because you're constructing that back four with players that that are going to miss games. You're only going to get consistency with people that are constantly available. So I think it is a bigger conversation to have about that left back position. Whether or not you say, right, we get someone else that's more available, or the backup that we get is constantly available either. Either way, we need to address that because it's been a problem all the way through the season. It is a problem.
And I think what's, just before we carry on this last topic, we're at 393 likes, nearly 400, which would put us within 100 of the target. Come on, guys. Keep pushing. If you have not smashed a like on the video, please smash a like right now.
You can do it!
Exactly. You can do it. Help push us over the line for 500 likes before the end of the stream. I think we can do it, or get very close to. Even if we got to 450. Even if we got to 450, I'll take that. And when we get to 450, I'll say have a big push. But can we get to 450? I believe in you guys. We're at 400 now. You've done it. You've done that within 10 seconds. So what could we do within the next 3 or 4 minutes? I'm pretty sure we can get to at least 450 likes and go from there. And maybe on the way out, we can get to the 500. You know what I mean? But yeah, the Luke Shaw situation, I feel like I really like Luke Shaw. I think he's a competent defender. I think he's good on the ball. I think you know what you're getting with him. I think he's technically sound more than people give him credit for. And he's a good solid player. It's just about availability. And I'll be honest, could we get though better? Like a marauding fullback, up and down, whipping in balls, great feet. Just like a more exciting, more modern day fullback. Absolutely, of course we could. And I'm not saying like I'm not Luke Shaw stand of no, don't let him leave or anything like that. I'm just saying like he is a good player. I think some people think Shaw's crap. Some people think he's rubbish. Yeah. He's not the best. But I do agree we don't get to see the best version of him for long enough. He either has one good season or good parts of the season where he's really good, or gets injured, or he might be a bit out of form, or it's just always chippy choppy.
I think it's availability. I really do think it's availability, because I think if we had a left back that had been available throughout the entirety of the season, or at least the vast majority of it, we'd be having the conversation right now where we would be saying that person would be our starting left back, because they'd have been consistently available. And like I said, ten Hag's put his cards on the table when it comes to that. He said, I like to pick the same team more often than not. I like consistency. And I think that should be the prerequisite for any player. But I really do think that left back spot, that's got to be the conversation. And it's availability of then quality. So would you want an available backup, or do you want an available first choice? And then Luke Shaw, you go, mate, you've got to stay fit. You don't stay fit, it's not yours anymore. You don't have that. Because the problem is with Luke Shaw as well, isn't it? It's whenever he gets comfortable, he doesn't really, and he's never really had stiff competition for an extended period of time, isn't it? Alex Tellez comes in and you go, oh yeah, Tellez is all right. Then you go, actually, is he all that? Goes away. Luke Shaw gets better and you go, Shaw's better than Tellez. It's all right. Tellez goes. Malacia, like last season, like we said, comes in, we go, actually, is he going to be the one? Drop off a little bit. You go, Shaw gets a bit better. Gets his head down. You go, Shaw's much better than them. You almost need someone to come in and be like better, not only in terms of quality, but also consistency for Luke Shaw to be like, right, I've really got to stick this out. Because it's almost like whenever he becomes, right, that's my spot again, then you see the drop off. You know, you need that someone's going to push him just constantly. Or just be better than him.
Just be that exactly. Just come in and be better. Just be. I kind of do want, because obviously you talk about refreshing things up and jigging things up. Obviously, Malacia was brought in as a young kid to sort of give some competition to Luke Shaw and did okay, but then Luke Shaw went, nah, he's still not better than me. What we want is that maybe like a marquee left back. You know what I mean? Or someone of a decent price. I'm not saying go and spend 78 million quid on left back because that's not priority, but someone who is genuinely could be better than Luke Shaw. Do you know what I mean? Where he has to either fight for his position or decisions made, or Shaw starts producing unbelievable quality on a consistent basis. But see, Marcus says Shaw is trash. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think that's completely just not true. He's not trash.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're trash, but I'd say we've got to keep the same energy that we keep with people like Martial, and we say, look, been here a long time, and let's face it, you cannot rely on Luke Shaw to be fit for the entirety of the
whole
season. You can't. When he came off at the weekend after 45 minutes, everyone did the same thing. They went, because he just come back. Because he just come back. Yeah. So that is, and again, that's when I go back to Ten Hag and I go, you put pressure on yourself. If you say that is, okay, my back four, I'm constructing this back four over several transfer windows, and these are the ones I'm picking. If you're consistently picking people in your best back four that you know aren't going to be available throughout the entirety of the season, and you preach consistency, I want to pick the same consistent back four, then that's on you when they drop out, because you know they're going to drop out and you can't be consistent. So it's upon you to, like I said, either have that backup that's ready to go every single time the drop-off isn't there, or you find someone else that is better and more consistently available, and you say to Shaw, you now have to stay fit. A bit like Martial, and you go, if you're not playing as much, maybe you'll be fit more often. I don't know.
Yeah. But Marcus says that's the denial needs to stop, Flex. He's not a title-winning left-back. Ain't good enough, mate. I just don't think he's available enough to be a title-winning left-back. If Luke Shaw was in, if the rest of the team was up to title-winning standard, I think Luke Shaw could play in it. I honestly do, bro. Marcus, I swear down. It's not denial. I swear, I actually think Luke Shaw, if Luke Shaw took out the injuries and he was available every single game, I think he could be part of a title-winning side. I do. I honestly do. Like, I think, but I 100% agree with what everyone said, that his biggest problem is unavailability, and we can't build. I think
if he was at a Manchester City, though, and this is when you get into the ruthless territory, I think if Luke Shaw was at Manchester City, I think they probably would have let him go a while ago, because I think they'd say,
because he's always injured.
That's what I mean. I think they'd have said too many injuries, can't rely on him, not doubting his quality, just not consistent enough in terms of availability. Yeah. And that's when you get into the territory of United then need to be more ruthless. If that's what the top teams are doing, then United.
It's sure better than Leighton.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that United then needs to have those difficult, tough conversations and go, either you stay fit or we'll replace you. That's what it needs to be.
It needs to be that, and absolutely, like, sell Luke Shaw if you can't stay fit, because we know that. So if you bring in a new left back, I'm not against that. But G-Man says Shaw is not as good as Ake. Well, look, mate, when Ake was at Bournemouth and all this, like, what? He was all right. Like, it's just because he's in that team. If Luke Shaw played for Man City, is that what we're doing now? Ake's a baller.
I think, in fairness, if Nathan Ake was this, and this is what we also have to realize too. If Nathan Ake was at Manchester United, if Ake was at Man United, he'd struggle, because because a lot of these people. A lot of these people would.
And this is what I mean about new age football. I'm going to sound like a grumpy old man here, yeah? The standards of, like, come on. Now Ake's wicked.
Standards.
Ake. Like, good, competent player. When Pep gets his teeth into any player, they get better in the system, in what they do.
Look at Sterling at City. Look at Sterling at Chelsea. There's a difference.
Come on, man. Ake now is I need to get off this app. All Elite says if Shaw can't play 1 game per week, then put a fork in it. Red Baron says Aaron Wan-Bissaka at left back. We never tried it before, and there's a reason why we've never tried it before, because that cannot.
We did for that 1 game, didn't we, recently? And everyone went, "What is that?"
Yeah, you can't play there. We did get to fight over 450 likes. We're at 454 on the way out. Just raise it. I challenge you. Let's do something we've not done before. On the way out, let's get to 500 likes as we say goodbye to you guys. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Later on today, we have got Flex and KG show. Smash a like if you want to see the Flex and KG show later on. And we've got FIFA as well this afternoon at some stage. Oh. So yes. Join us for that as well. So smash a like for both of those things. And we'll see you on the next video later on today. Take care. Peace.